Thank you. Good day. Welcome to today's presentation. I am going to present the co-authored paper, the paper that was co-authored by Dr. Maboa and Prof. Horne. Today, we are presenting the paper on the examining the Crime Information Management and Analysis Center as a policing knowledge system where crime data is transformed into organizational knowledge that shapes priorities, strategies, and actions within the South African Police Service. So, South Africa has got a crime challenge wherein crime levels exceed international averages, undermining social cohesion, economic participation, and development goals. The National Development Plan identifies persistent contact and property crime as a major impediment to the national progress. And effective response to violent and serious crime must account for structural, situational, and contextual factors. Crime analysis helps to transform raw data into actionable insight, supporting deployment, investigation, and crime prevention. Without crime analysis, policing defaults to reactive, intuition-based approaches. So in this study, we followed the qualitative interpretive design, exploring institutional meanings, practices, and power relations surrounding knowledge production in policing. We interviewed 48 SAPS officials across the station, provincial, and national levels. This includes CIMAC members, detectives, commander, and crime registrar representatives. We also interviewed 2 international practitioners where they have provided their insight in terms of crime analysis. We used purposive sampling. We also conducted interviews with the participants. So Crime Information Management, or CIMAC, is the institutional home of crime analysis within the SAPS. At the station level, historically, crime analysis units were established in the former South African Police Service as early as the 1960s. They were established so that they can identify modus operandi and recurring criminal patterns. Their roles include, among others, transferring data to knowledge, conducting hotspots and pattern analysis, supporting the operational members and station management to guide planning and resource deployment. And they also function as knowledge systems, not merely an administrative support structure. So CIMAC as a policing knowledge system, we're saying beyond technical tools, evidence-based policing is increasingly understood as institutional knowledge governance, not as a simple application of research findings. Evidence must be produced, validated, interpreted, and legitimized within the specific organizational context. CIMAC also help when actioning the police knowledge. At station level, analysts function as local crime experts, generating actionable policing knowledge, where in temporal, spatial, behavioral, and relational insights that enable structured problem-solving information or intelligence is distributed to the operational members. So in the Global South policing context, organizational instability and capacity pressures shape knowledge production and utilization, making analytical marginalisation particularly acute. So the key findings in this study were, in terms of CIMAC as playing an epistemic role, is that participants describe CIMAC as the heart. They've described CIMAC as the engine and backbone of the police station, reflecting an intuitive understanding of its role as a knowledge system. CIMAC structures information flows, coordinates analytical process, and also anchors collective sense-making around crime trends. South Africa shows a weaker articulation of professional identity and epistemic authority for analysts as compared to international counterparts. The finding in terms of the objectives, duties, and crime reduction support system of the CIMAC were that several participants described crime reduction as a direct objective for CIMAC. In reality, CIMAC contributes indirectly by enabling informed decision. Judging CIMAC by crime statistics alone obscures its epistemic contribution and creates unrealistic expectation. At station level, CIMAC is known for producing knowledge. Hence, analysts produce temporal, spatial, behavioral, and relational knowledge through hotspots analysis, linkage analysis, docket review, and also environmental scanning. Effective execution is frequently compromised by diversion of non-analytical tasks. This is where CIMAC members are then given other tasks that are not related to the analysis of information of producing knowledge at station level. CIMAC's indirect contribution to crime reduction includes, among others, targeted patrol placement, identification of high-risk areas, suspect profiling and leakage, prioritization of investigative resources, as well as evaluation of operational impact. So where CIMAC products are operationalized, participants reported more coordinated intelligence-led policing. Where outputs are ignored, crime analysis has minimal impact. In terms of institutional and epistemic challenges, the challenges that are attributed to CIMAC includes, among others, misallocation of analysts. Analysts are given jobs that are not related to their key performance, inappropriate personnel placement, inadequate training, absence of career path, resource shortages, weak managerial understanding. International participants confirmed that while resource constraints are common globally, their impact is determined by leadership commitment, professional recognition, and also institutional design. So in this study, we recommend the following towards knowledge governments to say the analytical role should be protected. We say informally protect CIMAC officials from non-analytical task allocation, institutionalize role protection through job descriptions, performance criteria, and reporting structures that safeguard analytical time and expertise. We also say integrate CIMAC into governance by embedding CIMAC outputs into station-level planning meetings, briefings, performance reviews, and resource allocation discussions. They should also define clear protocols for how analytical insights inform operational decisions. We're also recommending that the station management should invest in capacity and infrastructure where they prioritize human resources, analytical software, and system access, especially in high crime areas. They should also establish structured career trajectories and retention incentives. Among others, they should also strengthen leadership, epistemic awareness by incorporating evidence-based policing and analytical governance into leadership development programs. In conclusion, we're saying evidence-based policing in South Africa will not be realized through data availability or analytical technologies alone. It requires deliberate investment in the governance of knowledge, the professional recognition of analytical expertise, as well as the institutional conditions that allow evidence to shape action. We have also developed the framework that indicates the current state of CIMAC and also project the future state that CIMAC should be. We're saying evidence-based policing in South Africa, again, will not be realized through data availability or analytical technologies alone. It requires deliberate investment in the governance of knowledge, the professional recognition and analytical expertise, and the institutional conditions that allow evidence to shape action. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for joining us.